Hi everyone, and welcome to Yoga for Beginners. So this practice is really aimed at people who either have never done yoga before or have just done a little bit of yoga, or maybe you've tried yoga, either doing a class or an online video, and just found it a little too overwhelming, a little too difficult, a little too much, too many poses, and too difficult. And this practice will do some poses. It's a little bit gentler than maybe like a vinyasa practice. And what's really important in this practice and in any yoga practice is that it's your practice. So you never have to take all the poses. And if anything just doesn't feel good in your body, then you don't have to do it. You can do a different pose, or you can come back to this easy seated position or to a child's pose, or just to lay on your back. So anytime that you are finding a connection between your body and your mind, or your body and your breath, or yourself and the earth, then this is yoga. So you don't have to be doing any sort of specific pose to be doing yoga. So to start, you can find an comfortable seated position, whether this is cross-legged, you can sit on a pillow. I think this is more comfortable. Or if your body doesn't do this, if you can't sit cross-legged, you can extend your legs out in front of you, or you can come to lay on your back. And close your eyes, get nice and comfortable here. If you're sitting, find a tall spine. Start to bring your awareness and your attention inward. So really feeling what it's like to be inside of your body. No one else is lucky enough to be in your body, only you. So really building awareness of what it's like to be in your body. And then start to bring that awareness to your breath. Breath coming in and out of your lungs, bringing you fresh oxygen. Breath is the main tool that guides us through our yoga practice. So often in a vinyasa practice, we connect breath with movement. You don't have to do this in a yoga practice, but we do always in yoga sort of connect with our breath and use it as a tool to help us with our awareness and our connection. So start to lengthen your breath a little bit, inhaling a bit deeper and exhaling a bit more fully. Breathing through your nose with your mouth closed. And in this practice, once you find kind of a comfortable version of the pose, bring your awareness back to this breath. Use your breath to help guide you in the poses and from pose to pose. And find connection with yourself, with your body, with your mind, with your breath. Start by dropping your right ear towards your right shoulder. It doesn't have to come all the way down, but just feeling a stretch on the left side of your neck. Drop your chin down to your chest, and then bring your left ear towards your left shoulder, feeling the stretch on the right side of your neck. Drop your chin to your chest, and then bring your head back up to neutral position. You can open your eyes, and if you're sitting on a pillow, you can remove it and come to lay down on your back. Legs extended out long. Try and bring your shoulder blades together to open up your chest a little bit. And then bring your right knee into your chest, hug it in. Pressing your left thigh bone down towards the mat. And then you can start to move that knee from side to side, from right to left. Just noticing what this feels like in your hip. You can also move it in circles. Play around with different things, what feels good for you. And then hug it in, find some stillness. And extend your right leg out long. Notice any difference that you already feel between your right and left hip here. And then hug your left knee in towards your chest. And then again, start moving it either from side to side or in circles. Finding some gentle movement. And hug it in, find some stillness. Find your breath. And extend the left leg back out long. And hug both knees into your chest now. Rolling a bit from side to side. This gives a slight massage to your low back. You can feel really good. You can move your knees in circles as well. And then bring your hands to the backs of your thighs and start to roll along your spine. Rocking and rolling. And eventually rolling over your knees to come to a tabletop position. So on your hands and knees with your hips above your knees, shoulders above your hands, above your wrists. Do some cat-cows. So inhale, drop your belly for cow pose. Look forward, press your chest forward. And then exhale to round your spine for cat, pressing your hands into the mat. Inhale for cow, look forward, press that chest forward, dropping your belly. And exhale for cat, rounding the spine, arching the back like cats do. Inhale for cow. And exhale for cat. Inhale cow. And exhale cat, warming up the spine here. Inhale cow, last one. Exhale cat. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine. Bring your left hand to the center of the mat and then lift your right hand up to the sky to open up, twist open. Try and bring your right shoulder back to open up. And exhale, bring your right hand down to the mat. Replace your left hand with your right. And then inhale your left hand up to the sky, opening up, bringing your left shoulder back, twisting open, exhaling, bringing your left hand back down to the mat. Now walk your hands forward slightly, tuck your toes, and lift your hips. Press them up and back for downward facing dog. So here you can have a bend in your knees. A lot of people struggle with downward facing dog because they're trying to really straighten their legs, pressing their heels down towards the mat. But especially if you have tight hamstrings, tight backs of your legs, you can have a bend in your knees. And it's good for the first downward facing dog to bend the right knee and then the left knee. We call it walking out your dog. This helps kind of work into one leg at a time. Really pressing your hips up and back, lengthening through the spine. Downward facing dog is not an easy pose. So if you ever just are exhausted in this pose, you can always come down and take it on your knees. So just dropping your knees down to the mat and then kind of walking your hands forward and feeling the same sort of lengthening through the spine. So no shame if you ever have to drop down to your knees in a downward facing dog. Take a few more breaths here, lengthening through the spine, pushing the hips up and back, sit bones up and back. And then drop back down to your knees. Bring your knees as wide as the mat, feet together, and then sit your hips back towards your heels for child's pose, dropping your forehead down to the mat. Feeling an expansion maybe in your low back here. Stretch in the hips as well. Balasana, child's pose. Nice gentle pose. Inhale to come back to tabletop. Lift your hips up and back again for downward facing dog. Returning to your breath. And then start to walk your feet up towards your hands. Bend your knees and rest your torso on top of your thighs. Grabbing opposite elbows for ragdoll. Really just hanging here. Nice deep bend in the knees. Feeling again a sort of expansion in your low back. And start to straighten your legs. Let your elbows go, and then come to a forward fold. So your hands might be at your knees or at your shins, wherever they are, if you're not very open in the backs of the legs, and that's okay. You don't have to be able to reach the ground. Inhale to walk your hands up your body and come to Tadasana, mountain pose, standing nice and tall. You can roll your shoulders back to be nice and open in the chest, and just stand, feeling a grounding through the feet, connecting down with the earth, standing nice and tall through the legs, nice and open in the chest. Breathing here. And we'll start with a few Sun Salutations, Surya Namaskar A. So this is kind of a sort of warm-up foundation flow in yoga. So start with your hands at heart center. And inhale to reach your arms up to the sky. Look up at your fingertips. Exhale to fold all the way forward, all the way down, reaching wherever you can to your shins or to your ankles or to the ground. Inhale to lift halfway, flat back like a 90-degree angle. And then exhale, planting your hands down on the mat and stepping back to a high plank. And then holding your exhale, lowering your body all the way down to the mat. Now on your inhale, untuck your feet, press into your palms and lift your chest up, pressing your chest forward, keeping your pelvic bone on the mat. And then exhale to bring your hips back and then up for downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here, pressing your sit bones up and back, lengthening through the spine, pressing your chest back towards your thighs. Again, it's okay to have a bend in your knees. Inhale to step your feet up towards the top of the mat, halfway lift, 90-degree angle, and exhale for forward fold. Inhale to rise all the way up, reach up, look up to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And again, inhale, reach your prayer hands up to the sky. Exhale to fold forward, bringing them all the way down. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands and step back to a high plank, holding your exhale, lowering all the way down to the mat, untucking your toes. Inhale, press into your hands, lift your chest up for cobra pose. And exhale, bringing your hips back and then up for downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, always coming back to this breath. Again, using it as our tool to help guide us through this practice. Inhale, walk your feet up to your hands, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up to the sky. Exhale your hands to heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back for high plank, holding your exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes. Inhale, press into your palms, lift your chest for cobra, pointing your elbows back. And exhale, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Breathing here. Inhale, walk or step your feet up to your hands, halfway lift. exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, look up, reach up. Exhale your hands to heart center. Great job, everyone. Now bring your feet together and then sit your hips back and lift your arms up for chair pose. So bringing the weight to your heels, the backs of your feet. Look down at your feet if you can't see them. If your knees are in the way, you want to try and sit your hips back, bring your weight back more. Try and lift your ribcage up towards the sky, reaching up. We won't stay here for too long. This is a great strengthening pose. And exhale, straighten your legs and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back for high plank. Lowering down all the way. Untucking your toes, inhaling for cobra pose. And then exhaling to come back to downward facing dog. From here, bring your left foot to the center of the mat. Inhale, lift your right foot for three-legged dog. And then exhale to bring it through, plant it between your hands and set your left knee down on the mat. We'll come to a low lunge. So here you have some options with your hands. You can either bring your hands to your right thigh, sinking your hips down towards the mat. You can also interlace your fingers behind you, bringing your palms together and pulling down to open your chest. Or you can reach your fingertips up to the sky for a low crescent lunge with your palms either together or apart. Whatever feels good for you today. Really sinking your hips down towards the mat. With your knee over your ankle. Finding your breath. Wherever you are, bringing your palms down to the mat, tucking your left toes, and then lifting your right leg up and back for the three-legged dog. And then exhaling, dropping your right foot down for downward facing dog. And bringing your right foot to the center of the mat. Inhale, lift your left leg for three-legged dog, up and back. And then exhale, bring your left foot, plant it between your hands, dropping your right knee down to the mat. For the low lunge on the other side, again, bringing your hands either to your left thigh or interlace behind you to pull open your chest. Or reaching up to the sky. Wherever you are, really feeling your hips sinking down towards the mat. Finding your breath. On your next exhale, bring your palms back down to the mat. Tuck your right toes, bring your left foot up and back for three-legged dog, and then down to downward facing dog. Walk your hands back towards your feet for a forward fold at the back of the mat, and then inhale to rise up to stand. Step either your right or left foot up towards the top of the mat, so you come to a wide-legged straddle position facing the long edge of the mat. Plenty of space between your feet, and your feet should be parallel or very slightly pigeon-toed. Stand nice and tall, shoulders above your hips. Bring your hands to your hips, and then broaden your chest, pressing the chest up towards the sky. Inhale here, and then exhale to fold forward, keeping a flat back all the way down as far as you can. And if you can, placing your hands on the mat in line with your feet. You can press down and forward with your fingertips to help you fold a little bit deeper. And bring the weight towards the front of your feet. And bring your pelvis forward slightly. So it's kind of like you're about to fall forward if someone pokes you from behind. Feel this nice deep stretch in your legs. Inhale to lift halfway up. Exhale to bring your hands to your hips. And then inhale to lift all the way up to stand. And step your back foot up to meet your foot that's at the top of the mat. Standing at the top of the mat, inhale to reach up to the sky. And exhale come to sit on your mat. Find a cross-legged position if you can. And then place your left hand on your right knee and your right hand behind you. Gentle twist, twisting towards the right, looking towards the right, or if you can, over your right shoulder. An easy seated twist here. Inhale to come back to center, and then place your right hand on your left knee, left hand behind you, and twist towards the left. If you can, if it's okay with your neck, you can look over your left shoulder. Again, find your breath. You might find that the two sides are different. You can twist further on one side. That's totally normal. Inhaling to come back to center. And then come to Baddha Konasana. So we have two versions of this pose, bringing the soles of your feet together, knees wide. So the first version is bringing your feet close to your pelvis, and then opening your knees nice and wide like a book, trying to press your knees down towards the mat. The second version is bringing your feet a little bit further away from your pelvis, and then rounding in the spine, trying to bring your forehead to your feet. So your forehead doesn't have to come anywhere near your feet, and your knees don't have to come anywhere near the mat. Wherever you are is totally fine. But feeling this opening in the hips, stretch in the inner thighs, maybe in the low back. Inhaling to come back up if you were folded forward, and then rolling over your legs to come to lay on your belly. Come for a few longer cobras. So bringing your hands next to your armpits, legs zipped up, feet together. Inhale to lift your chest, keeping your pelvic bone on the mat. Try and press your chest forward. Elbows are pointed back, and breathe here. On your exhale, lower your chest down to the mat. Take a couple breaths here. And on your next inhale, lift back up. Pressing your chest forward and trying to bring your shoulders back. Exhale to lower. Breathe. And then inhale to rise up again. Hold this one for a little bit longer. Pressing that chest forward. And exhaling to lower, bring one cheek to the mat, arms alongside your body. So doing poses like this, you can call them heart openers or back bends, helps to counter a lot of hunching that we tend to do when we're sitting or working at a computer or using our phones or driving. A lot of times we're hunching forward. So doing poses like cobra, and upward facing dog, and bridge, that stretch the front of the body, they help us to open our chest and do sort of the counter to this hunching. So now lift up, come to kneel at the top of the mat. Have your toes tucked behind you if you want to. Start by pressing your hips forward, and then bring your arms out to a T. Swoop your right arm underneath of your left, clasping your hands in front of your face. If this doesn't feel good, you can grab your shoulders with your hands. But either way, lifting your elbows up and away from you and starting to press your hips forward, pressing your chest up and starting to lean back. But really channel pressing your hips forward here and bringing your elbows up and away from you. You can lay your head back. Inhale to rise back up. Bring your arms back out to a T. And now swoop your left arm underneath of your right for the other side. Pressing your hips forward, your chest up, and leaning back. Laying your head back. Pulling your elbows up and away from you. Inhaling back up, arms out to a T, and then exhale them alongside your body. Come to lay down on your back now. We'll do one more back bend, heart opening pose, which is a bridge. So walk your feet so they're near your butt cheeks. You may be able to tickle your heels, and then bring your shoulder blades together, so kind of tucking your elbows underneath of your body. Inhale to lift your hips up to the sky. Try to interlace your fingers underneath of you. This helps bring your shoulder blades together and open your chest, and really press your hips up towards the sky here. Make sure your knees aren't coming out really wide. I'm trying to keep them directly in front of your hips. And exhale to slowly release your hips down to the mat. Hug your knees into your chest. You can bring your forehead up towards your knees, grabbing opposite elbows, giving yourself a big hug. And then lower your head down to the mat, keeping your knees hugged into your chest. And then you can roll from side to side again to massage your lower back. Bring your arms out to a T, and then let your knees fall over to the right for a supine twist. Keep both shoulder blades on the mat here. You can place your right hand on top of your top knee to kind of press it down towards the mat, but make sure you keep both shoulder blades still on the mat, and you can look out to your left fingertips if it feels okay with your neck. Inhale your knees back to center, and then exhale, let them fall to the left, looking out to your right fingertips if you can. And again, if you want to bring your left hand on top of your top knee to kind of press it down, you can do that. Supine twist. Really being aware of how these poses feel in your body. Yoga helps us be more aware of our body, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. Inhaling your knees back to center. And then take the legs up the wall, so just extending your legs up. You can bring your hands underneath of your hips, or if you want to go over to an actual wall, it's kind of less work, a little more relaxing. This pose is one of my favorites to do right before bed. A gentle inversion. Helps to calm the nervous system. It's good for our circulation. I just find it really calming. Feel how good it feels to breathe in this pose. Feeling the breath come in and out. And then when you're ready, you can come away from the wall if you were there. Hug your knees into your chest and give yourself a nice big hug. One big inhale here. And then exhale, release to Shavasana. Shavasana is our final resting pose, or corpse pose, resting pose. So get really comfortable. I like to place a pillow underneath my thighs here because it helps to support my low back. So if you have trouble just lying on your back on the ground, you can try doing this. Close your eyes, palms facing up. Feel the ground supporting you, holding you up. So you don't have to do any work. You just have to be here, inside your body, breathing. Feeling the air coming in and out of your lungs. Trying to purposefully relax your muscles here. Maybe imagining your muscles melting into puddles. Trying to keep the mind aware, not drifting off and thinking about what's for dinner, even if it's tempting. If you find your mind drifting away, you can gently bring it back. You can focus on your breath. You can focus on sensations you feel in your body, the spots where you feel your body connecting with the mat or with the earth. And if you're listening to music, you can also use that as something for your mind to latch onto, to focus on. Clearing our mind for a few minutes every day can help us with stress and with anxiety. Can help you feel more calm. And it can be difficult, and often you may find your mind wandering off, and that's okay, just gently bringing it back. Inhale to lift your arms overhead for a full body stretch. Bring your knees towards your chest and roll onto your right side using your right bicep as a pillow. Keeping your eyes closed, press your left hand into the earth and come up to a seated position. Take a few last moments in stillness. I like to take this time to really thank myself for completing this practice, for taking this time for myself, for my mind, for my body, to connect with my breath, with my mind, with my body, with myself. You can think of other things that you're grateful for in life. Bring your hands to heart center, and then bring your prayer to your third eye, your thumbs in the space that's between your eyes, finding the wisdom within you. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have questions, and I'll see you soon.